Guess what time it is? It's 411. I love that when it's that. But anyway, so it's information time. And it is Tuesday, 4 o'clock in the morning, 4:11, and 411. And I've already had 3 cups of tea. It's not, like regular tea. It's a bunch of powders and leaves and stuff like that. But I think it does energize you. And and plus, I've had music going and I've been up dancing. So maybe a little energized. And I kind of don't even know. I feel just as scattered as ever. Like, we'll see what we're going to talk about. Let's look at my hair, though, because I just want to get it out of the way. I'm definitely not madly in love with those shoes. Like, I don't know that it's extremely different. I mean, there's like a lot of hairs growing in right here. But it seems like, I don't know, it seems like it should be more or something. It seems, I don't know. They're on sale right now on Amazon. Amazon has got my account all jacked up too. Fucking God. Swear to God. I'm so sick of the system. So sick of the bullshit, man. So sick of what it is. We're expected to just follow along, do what you're told, be a part of it. We've got ourselves so entangled in it. It's like, you know, I mean, who's ready to go out and raise chickens and cut their heads off to eat one? Is all the time when I think about that with the dogs and eating more meat and stuff. I think there's no motherfucking way I can go out and take one of my chickens and cut its head off and go in and prepare it. I was at someone's house that did that one time. They had chickens and they decided, let's barbecue. I don't even, I don't even know. Because to me, I can't remember. I can't remember how they did it or anything like that. I just remember all of a sudden they were pulling these feathers. That is a long thing. I think that there's ways that you can do it better or something. I think if you put it in hot water or something, it loosens them or whatever. But they're just out there pulling these feathers and stuff. And I was like, God dang, this is brutal. And my mom would tell me about when she was a kid on the farm, and that they would cut the heads off the chickens because this is how they had to eat. There wasn't grocery stores. You went in and somebody did it for you, and so they would have to cut the head off the chicken. And she said the chicken would always run around without its head on. It was so disgusting, and traumatizes you as a kid. But I've always thought about that. I've always heard that too, other people saying when you cut off the head of a chicken, it will run around for a while. I don't know how long, but it's kind of weird, huh? It's like we don't need our heads. I heard another story. I just heard another one of they're gonna go in for the harvest, and we got them slabbed up on the table, all the medical professionals around, all in the room, ready to go, and they're told, oh, he's brain dead. That we've already heard from the whistleblower on that one that is made up. It's bullshit. And that, so he did something on the table. He started coughing and crying or something like that. And so everybody was like, wait a minute, hold up. Luckily, I mean, there's some that are so kooky that I'm sure on their kickback, they're like, well, he's already registered. Let's go. Like, and there could have been one in the room who was like, God damn it, there goes my trip. But it, or, yeah, there goes my other little toy. They're so focused on, their little fucking fetishy bullshit. They don't think about what they're doing to humanity or other families or anything like that. People get so sucked into greed, like it's a fucking vacuum. So, and money is the test. How far does it take you? Where do you go with it? What is your obsession with it? And we're seeing a lot of shit play out like, around the money situation. But anyways, I was like, there's no way I can go in and start cutting off the heads of chickens for my dogs to eat chicken. And how many chickens would you have to raise to every single fucking day, or even a couple a week? That's why in that one place, I'm sure, it makes a lot more sense to raise. Uh, they don't eat gerbils. They eat those, not groundhogs. Groundhogs are even pretty small, I think. But maybe they're the same size as groundhogs. But we keep them as pets. Little kids get them as pets here in America, and they are cute as can be. And they're called something. They're like about this big. They're like a giant hamster. But over in Peru, my lawyer was telling me about her trip that she had gone there, and she said, the kitchen stuff was all rudimentary, like dirt floor, made out of like clay or something. These buildings, and so that's why I was like, man, I live better than a lot of people. Like a lot of people don't have running water and toilet, like, but then we see as humans in America that it was another part of the trap to get us on their shit. But anyways, those people have more independence, even though it's more challenges and you have to take care of yourself. It still is. To me, is more free. And so, but some of them are restricted through poverty, because in some of these countries, yeah, they have to, it's like they control everything. And some of it is controlled through starvation, poverty, crime. You just think about, like, man, some of these countries in Latin America, like the ones they start telling us third world countries, it's ones where they want those kids, man. It's ones where they like that dark meat. And also in Africa, they have been fucking vicious over there to those people. It's so fucking horrible. And but they've been fucked to us all, It just is. It's just nonstop fuckery. But they got us all handled in different ways. So over there, though, they go up the side of a mountain, so they terrace. And she said it was really cool because they grow up the side of the mountain, the food and stuff, and then they have their houses, their caves, whatever you want to think, their buildings that they live in, going up the sides of these mountains too. And she said inside there was like these cages in the kitchen, and it would be full of it's coming to my head, but I was still having groundhog, hamsters, whatever they are. I'll probably remember it in a second. But she said that they would have a whole bunch of them in their kitchen running around, and then they were going to cook dinner. So she said they just grabbed one out, conked it on the head, and then threw it in to be cooked up. And I think she tasted it. There's a lot of stuff, like, there's a lot of countries where they eat a lot of stuff where they're like, no, I'm not interested in tasting any of that stuff. There's a lot of stuff. I was really freaked out about the fact they were feeding us crickets and bugs for a while. It was like, oh my God, I got so grossed out on the food stuff, the poisons, the ingredients and stuff. And then I started doing everything where it was like super basic. And but now I've been eating like these boxed up biscottis and cookies and crap like that, not just ones I've made. And lots of stuff from the bakery at the grocery store. But it's the it's the biscotti. Or I sit there thinking, oh, I'm sure this has got cricket dust in it. And now it's just like, well, if it tastes good. There was a bunch of thunder in the middle of the night. And I was like, oh, please, just let the sky open up. Let's get on with it. Let's go. But I guess it was just thunder. So I don't know if that is thunder or maybe a ship passing on by. I don't know, rumbling. There was already a plane that went over, just out of the blue. It's like, so loud. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of planes that go over, but it's like, why some of them does it sound like, it's rattling your house? You can hear it going. It's like that. Our atmosphere is jacked. And I'm telling you, fuck. flying out of here. It's like we got to fly through several skies. I don't know. I may disappear. I may go through a portal. You may never see me again after next week. And I decided I'm going to order a little one of these portable ones. So it's little, it's like compact, and you fold it up, and then you can put it in your bag. And so I'm going to take that with me, because I was like, man, there's going to be so many times when I'm awake in the middle of the fucking night, because I'm so used to it, even though I did not want to fucking wake up. And they keep waking me up and waking me up. It's like I'd already had the garage open 3 times. Stella's already eaten. She's had medicine. It's like, oh my God. And I did not even want to wake up. I was just deep in dream world. And so, anyways, whatever with the sleep thing. I was like, I'm sure I'm going to be awake in the middle of the night, and I'll just record, because I'm sure it's going to be, I don't know. There's going to be things to talk about, I'm sure. I'm sure it's going to be a lot more sad and hard to be around him and see, you know, like he can't text, he can't, there's like, he's got a lot of problems with his body. I wish he would just flush it, man. I wish, but I'm the kook. I'm the kooky one here. So anyways, back on this chicken thing. So I was thinking about that, and it just makes you just really think about how many chickens really go out in a day in our country, and where the fuck are they all coming from? And it's weird. Like, if you really go in and you start thinking about it, and you start looking at it and looking at the different, you know, restaurants, homes, stores, everywhere. There's so many fucking chickens, man. How could they process that many? No wonder they're telling us they're just gonna grow them in labs and shit. It's mental. Our consumption has just increased in such a, you know, once it was someone else doing it for us. Because I swear to God, if we were out there cutting the heads off chickens to eat dinner, there would be a reduction in how much chickens were being eaten. And but that they do it for you and pull the feathers and shit, then you have you know, everybody's easy. Just run in, get grab some breasts. Don't forget, we've got the chickens in the hole, but we also got them cut up. And every grocery store is just fucking full. It's like, I don't know. Just gets weirder and weirder. But now I'm to the point with crickets and shit. It's like, we've been eating all this fucking garbage for so long. It's like the same thing. You turn yourself into a germ phobe when you just get yourself just all hung up on it. It's like, fuck. At least we're going into a time of change. I just don't know what all is gonna. I know I'm changing a lot. How I look at things is changing a lot. And if they introduced here, you can take this morning pill and you won't be hungry anymore and you'll feel satisfied, I'd do it. I do it. I told my mom, and she's like, oh, no way would I do it. But she's into eating meat and stuff like that. Like, where it's different level, it's different vibrations. But to me, yeah, like, I'm not, like, sometimes, like, you crave certain things. And for me, I crave a lot of things, like, I would never eat that. Never eat that. And, but my body will be like, I don't know what it is, like a cheeseburger, you know, from back when I was 18 years old, going to McDonald's and their quarter pounders with cheese. I was really hooked on those for a while. That was like my ending of eating meat. That's the only thing that kept me hooked for a while. Everything else, it was easy, like, ugh, gross, steak, ugh. And I was telling my mom the other day, and I was saying, you know, about what they, you know, what we got going with the Soylent Green and shit. And I said, always from the time I was a kid, 'cause she's always told people, like, I quit eating meat when I was a kid because I was a very picky eater. I was like, I could eat cinnamon toast and chocolate milk and candy. I would go get bags of candy at the store. And I was keeping, this is when I was a teenager, I was keeping them in my drawer. It broke me of it when I was eating them. And then all of a sudden I realized they were full of maggots. My drawer was full of maggots, so I was eating these maggots. It happened to me quite a few times with different things, like getting some cookies and eating them, and then I find bugs in them and stuff. And it was like, oh, those were packaged stuff. So those were those little tiny Reese's. That happened. I don't know how long it took me to be able to eat Reese's again. Oh God, it was so disgusting. I was so grossed out. Like those maggots probably been growing in me for years, decades, because that happened when I was like 15. Okay, so let me think back. Okay, so on because you can get all your nutrition by minerals and stuff. If they give us something that's full of minerals and vitamins and everything our body needs, then what is the point of eating all this stuff? Like I don't know. It seems like eating should be something out of joy, not out of desperation of survival. I think we've gotten confused or something, or that this world has drugged down into that energy, but we're dragging back up. And anyways, so I was telling my mom, like, on the meat thing, when I was a kid, I said that when I would chew it, because, you know, back then it was like you were given a plate of food and you were expected to eat that plate of food. There was no, like, there was a thing. And it changed as the generations started going, because there were so many people who went through this experience. They were like, I'll never make my kids eat everything. I've heard lots of stories where kids is having to eat their stuff, and then they puked, and then finish it. Like, you'd get in trouble. I've heard horrible stories. Like, people get whacked out on some of these rules, man. But I remember it being, you know, you have to sit there and finish your food. It'd be fucking bedtime. Well, or you better hurry up and finish. And you'd be getting more and more, it would be getting more heated. Your parents would be getting more and more fucking pissed. And the meat just grossed me the fuck out. And I told her, I said, every time I would put it in my mouth and I start chewing it, I would always think it's people. It was just so chewy. That's all I would think about. It's people. It's people. And I would be chewing it, and it would lose all its, and it would just be this like leathery chewing. And oh God, it just grossed me the fuck out. And and she was like, I don't even remember what it was. If it was started like making excuses or so. Well, it was probably because of this. Oh, you couldn't have. Why would you even think that? I don't know. I have no idea. That was just a big problem to me when I was a kid. Every time, and it was such a meat-eating place. Especially, I was in Dallas. Like, maybe if you grew up in California back then, you ate more salads. But fuck, man, it was meat and potatoes and sweet tea. And the meat just grossed me the fuck out. And I just always, from the time I was a kid, when I started realizing about reincarnation, or I don't know what, with my communicate, because I was always just different on some of these things. And, you know, like everybody else was drinking coffee, I was drinking tea. And that could be a problem. Like, yeah, it's nothing to go to conference everywhere. There's coffee everywhere. Everybody's on it. Get your coffee here. But you throw it in, and it's like, well, do you have tea? I'm like, tea? What foreign language are you speaking here? It's like, tea? What are you, some kind of vegetarian? It's like, God. That was the big thing. As soon as I wouldn't eat meat, what are you, some kind of vegetarian? And I've still ate chicken and fish for a long while, but it would only be like a very small bit because it would just gross me the fuck out. And fish was a different texture. Chicken was some, but if it was cooked a certain way, I don't, I don't like it. But anyways, I think a lot is going to come out as it's a lot of soil and green that people have been eating. And, and I don't know if I could just sense it when I was a kid, or what, if I was from the Dahmer party. I'm not sure what the hell. But anyways, that was something, I don't know, it was just a weird conversation I had with my mom, is her reaction. But there's so many reactions lately. It's like a desperation to hold on to things. Like, so, the religion thing is going to be everything a twist back. There's no, there's just firewall after firewall. I just saw this other person, and they were saying the reason why it's so hard to break this religious programming thing. I'm saying it like me, not like her. is because it was cast as a spell by these uh, priests or whatever. These people used this Jesus hierarchy to get us to take a knee to God. He's above us, and we need to be his subjects. And so they set this whole premise. And then there's all these people who bought into it, but it's like they cast a spell, and all the people are, to me, it is a program, but it's all in how you look at it. And it's all these things. It just depends on which direction you're looking at it from. So there's nothing to argue about with people. No, it's this. No, it's that. It's all the things. It's however you see it. It doesn't matter how they see it. It matters how you see it. And how you see it is your interpretation. It's your translation of your experience. So it doesn't, like, there's so many things that there's nothing to argue about, and there's so many people who are desperate to be right about things. It's like, it's gotta just let things play out. It's gonna play out, and there's nothing to argue about. And people are gonna shift their understanding and stuff. And so I just got hit with a couple of other things too. Okay, so let me get them straight. Okay, so the nothing to argue about. Oh yeah, okay. So she was saying that how the people are so like trapped in this thought process of with the, because it was a spell cast and stuff. And I look at it as a program with firewalls and stuff. Because as soon as you start seeing anything, it's like the great deception. No, close. No, this is it. They're trying to trick me away from Jesus. Because it's all set into motion. They've already got it in motion in the current. So the people, it's like a fallback. It's like a firewall that just keeps pushing them back and pushing them back. So in all these things, it's weird how you talk about something and it just goes into that, goes, and then you say anything and it's like, oh no, you're wrong. No, it's this. And you're going to be sorry that you didn't figure it out for yourself, because you're going to be left behind. You're going to burn for, eternity now. So, it's just this, I mean, she didn't say all that, but that is the general consensus of what, the belief system portrays. And so that is what they all become comfortable with that, This part keeps sticking out and keeps catching my attention. So anyways, let's look at my tooth too real quick. So anyways, there's all this stuff for the people to see, but they're resisting to see it because it is the great deception. So they have to close their minds to it, and which shows all the holes in their philosophy, because it's not based on love and acceptance and stuff like that. It's based on this hierarchy, submission. There's an abusive mindset, in there, because of the, if you're not a believer, what's going to happen? You're going to burn. It's like bad news. So that's going, and this, this is going to be a big one. I'm so curious to see how this is going to play out, because it's like, fuck, man. I mean, even if it goes extreme and the fucking sky starts opening up and ships start landing, that is already in the firewall. That's the great deception. That's the demons that are flying in to take our souls. And so I don't know. Yeah, I mean, some of this stuff is gonna play out to give a direction, to open people's minds and stuff. But religion is a big one, and and then I know a lot of people think that the government one. And so I saw this video this morning, and this girl was like, Liz, you're gonna be crying because it's all, coming out. So CNN was reporting that all the stuff that they've done to try and take Donald down, and it's nothing's worked. And whatever, I guess there's some slip ups or something. And so then one of the guys like, oh, so it's all fake. And so, anyways, conversation, and he's gonna keep going in these ways because, for one thing, you can't hide the truth because the light is coming in. So it's gonna happen naturally. But it's also, this is a scripted show that things are turning to turn us in a direction. So things are turning to guide us in a direction that takes us in a new direction. And so that's also going on. And then you also have the, yeah, it's like an all scripted thing where it's like all to play out, but there's also the it seems like there was another thing, but there's other things that all of the stuff can be. It's not just one thing. So, however, all of this stuff plays out with the news, the media, which on here I'm so sick of social. Like, their shenanigans and censorship and stuff just increasing. So it's like it's increasing, I guess, to push us to be more irritated so things flip the other way. Because we push towards what we want instead of what they're doing. We're pushing apart from it. So they're coming at us what they're doing and we're pushing back. That is energetically. And so that it's coming in so hard, surely it's going to be flipping somehow. And I'm telling you, I'm getting in on that class action lawsuit. Whatever's going to go down on that. Like, and then there's not going to be, I don't know, maybe that's the way they're going to funnel money back to people or whatever, is give all these places, they're going to pay their lawsuits or something. But this is the takedown of these corporations. They're going down. And there's just this weirdness too. My mom will be so complicit to the system of things. And it was, I saw now some about State Farm. State Farm is just raised. They don't have to ask permission or whatever. They're just increasing their premiums because they have to pay out on something for Texas or California fires or something. So they're going to hit it from all of us that are on them to increase it to have to pay more. Well, that kind of stuff pisses my mom off. But it's just still, well, it has to be done. Well, that's the way it is and stuff. Like, there's just this persistent, of take a knee, well, that's the way it is. Well, it's going to stay the same unless we do something about it, unless we stand up and say no. How long do you, especially when you're older and you think, well, I'm going to die anyway, just leave it for them. I'll just pay my way out of here. It's like, I don't know. I feel more of like, you gotta make a mark in society. You gotta make a change. You don't just submit to their fucking nonsense. But yesterday I saw this lady, and so I got really excited about this because she was like, I don't remember the whole list. Oh, she's just going through a whole list. So there's a whole bunch of arrests or busts or something. And some included like police stations, judges, all these different people, and people in politics and stuff. So all of these different arrests, she's going through all of these things that, I don't know if she said she got a list or they're able to look it up. I'm not sure, because you have some people who are just so focused on this stuff. And so she said they're all arrested and they're all being charged with, what was it? It was going in my mind, and then all of a sudden it was like, wait a minute, what was it? Was it TREASON? Or war crimes? Maybe it's the second one. It's something like that. And they're all being charged with with whatever it is. And see, so I go up to show my mom, and I'm all excited, like, hell yeah. That's a good sign things are moving along. And she got kind of irritated. It was like, I don't know who this person is. I don't believe anything they're saying, and you're not going to make me think cops are bad. I was like, what? I'm not trying to make you think cops are bad. Like, we've had these arguments so many times because I say, especially like now, you have blind followers. That's one of the fucking things to even be a cop. You have to take commands. You don't question authority. And where do most of the cops come from? Fucking service, because they fucking train them. Their training has more to do with this filtering people into the system. It has to do with figuring out who needs to be in this job, who needs to be in that job, and then moving them in directions. So lots and lots of cops are military, and they are a certain breed of men who don't question authority. They've kind of got a hankering for violence, and they do what they're told. And so that is more extreme right now. So yeah, I'm sure there's been people who have gone into wanting to be a cop and protect the people they love, protect their community and stuff like that. They just didn't realize they're getting into fucking gangster town. It's like, it's not what you think it is. It's a fucking system based on corruption and payoffs to turn a blind eye. And so, and every soul's story is going to play out in different ways. So you can't just say, well, this is the only way. This is what it goes on. No, it goes in a whole bunch of different ways. A whole bunch of different people go into different things for different experiences. And so there's a whole lot of different experiences that can come from, being a cop, and at different periods of time, because there was a period of time where, there was it was a definite, that the cops were over us and stuff. Now people are starting to catch on, and they're starting to talk about their rights, and you don't have any rights over me. And I saw this video of this guy who was, it's from the cops' dash cam footage, and this kid is walking down the road. I'd say, I don't know, 19 years old, something like that. He's walking down the road. A cop passes him, and he's like, fuck you, pig. And so the cop zips back and is like, what did you do? What did you say? And he's like, fuck you, pig. Like, right up in his face. And the cop's like, you can't talk to me like that. And he's like, bullshit. I can say whatever the fuck I want to say. And he's like, no, you can't. Telling him he better take a knee. He better fucking get his shit together. He better respect authority and stuff. Especially these people, that's all they do. And so and this kid was like, no, I don't have to do shit. And he was like, arguing with him, telling him, yeah, he does. And the kid's like, no, I've got rights. And you can't tell me what to do. This isn't a law. This isn't nothing. You can't mean all of this. It just is going and going and going. And you're like, fuck. If there was 3 or 4 of them, this kid would have been blasted. He'd be like, oh, well, we don't know what happened. He's just stopped breathing. But so the guy calls another cop comes, supervisor or something. I think that I don't remember if the kid says, call your supervisor or whatever. This cop is whacked over his ego. And this kid doesn't give a shit. He keeps laughing in his face and he doesn't even refer to him anything other than a pig. He says fucking fuck you about 100 times. And so the higher authority comes, and he starts saying, well, he's right, and they have to just let him go. With that kid, that cop with the dash, he was fuming, boy. He was like, God, he was pissed. He probably fucking followed him home and stalked him, probably did something when he came out of his house. That's how kooky that some of these people are. And it's like, because we're at this time of change, and when people are so resistant, it's something deep. Like, I talk about it all the time with the medical. Like, these people are not people you want to be trusting right now. There's like kookiness going on. Like, if they are so asleep to their own position in the health thing, then they like, why would you want them to be figuring anything out on you? Like, you're way better off like fucking reading medical. But it's so crazy too, because then when you get into that, then you are putting your focus in on something that's an illusion. So to me, it's way more getting into your mind. Like, it's fine. It's fine. I'm healing. I'll heal. Show me what it is I need to see. You know, like my foot hurts. My foot won't stop hurting. Well, I'm not gonna go get a X-ray. I'm gonna just write it out. And so then you go in and you're like, you know, in your meditation, or please show me, why is my foot hurting? Show me what it is I need to see. And confirmation, and things will come to you. Like, you're letting people step all over you, you're going in the wrong direction, you need to step lightly. Like, things will come into your mind, like your body is communicating with you. And but we break communication and we go to these doctors to solve it. Well, can you tell me what's going on here? It's like, we need to tap in, we need to do it. And these gooks, they don't know shit, they don't know anything about that kind of stuff. They just are anxious to get a scalpel on you and make a paycheck. So these people are gooks, and you don't trust them. And it's the same in all of the different places, the different jobs right now, because people are waking up, and part of the waking up is your role or your position that you're playing in this game, in this thing. And when people are not, it's like, I don't know how to explain it, but it's like, that's then for us to pull out of. So just because there's other ones that are continuing, that doesn't mean we continue with them. We pull free. And then, so, and it can be out of all these different things. So, because there's so much, and there's so much holding on to us, and so much that we're trapped by. But yeah, especially right now, it's gonna be all wacky because it's pushing us in a new direction. And so, yeah, for the biggest thing, I want to stay away from all cops. Like, I don't want any interaction with them. They're fucking trigger happy. They're out on ego. They're cooped out, man. And some of them are fucking doing lines before work. They got access. Why the hell not? It's a corrupt fucking system. But that's the thing, is they're going in and taking a lot of these places are being arrested, a lot of these people and stuff. But I don't know. Like, she wants to hold on to this idea of like, cops are good, insurance is necessary, and then just bitch about getting fucked. But it's like, well, if you don't want to get fucked, we have to take a stand. We have to make change. We have to do something different. And then there's so many people that just sit back and was like, nope, not me. And then anybody who's doing it, you look kooky, you look crazy. But anyways, it's like, it's weird. And I don't know. This is something that always gets me, is because it's been for so long. If something dies, my mom gets tore up, man. And it's always like, I don't understand it. I'm like this weird little alien kid standing over the side, but that's not real. Like, what are you getting so upset about? And so I don't know. I just see religion is so misinformation, because it's like, I mean, if something dies, shouldn't you just be super excited for it? But I guess if you think like, well, I guess that's gonna burn in hell too. I don't know. It's like, I would think that you would be like, oh, I'm so excited, it gets to go to heaven now. But I don't know. I keep biting my tongue. It's like my tongue keeps getting tore up. Like my jaw. I don't know. Even my music's just going on a mind of its own. Just be playing, and then all of a sudden it's like, we're done with that song. We're just gonna switch into another one if you don't mind. It's just like, what? The other day I was laying out here and it was hanging in my little stretch out chair, and a song would come on. I'd be like, oh, I like this song. And it would go in, and then it would just, we're going to stop that one and go to the next one. And just kept doing that. Wouldn't play a whole song. I was like, what in the holy hell is going on? And I don't know if I need to move my satellite. I don't know if there's too many planets. Like, I don't know the strength of this thing. But it's constantly buffering. There's constant buffering, and I don't know. I don't know if it's the atmosphere. I fucking don't know. There is a point where it's just like, it's exhausting, it's tiring. Like there's just so much, and there's so much resistance. You can't just you can't just talk to people about things. It's like they all have their things they're holding on to, resisting. Oh well, the whole world's fake and full of shit, but this thing that I like and believe in, that's true. The rest of it, nah, that's not true. But this is true. It's like, well, I'm pretty sure none of it's true. Not a motherfucking thing. What was that? It was yesterday. I was seeing something. It was like it's so crazy. Yeah, it's just, everything's a lie. And sometimes when it gets to like how deep the lies go, it's just like it's mental, man. So crazy. But then you go into, well, why is my soul here? It came here because it came here to play this game. Like, it's like kind of like a bring it on attitude, like I can play this. And then it's like you see all these people kind of trapped in it. Oh yeah, there's a video I just saw. Okay, and I've seen this guy talking twice, I think. I don't know who he is, but I think he's on a podcast. But he definitely talks like more like me. And then he was saying the energy. Okay, let me think what he was saying. Because it was good, whatever it was. Why is it getting so foggy? I can't see it. But I can see him, and I can see him talking, but I can't see what he's saying. Let me see. Was it about the people being, man, they're all merging into my mind, all these different ones. Well, I don't know. Maybe it'll come back to me. But sometimes this really throws me. Like it throws a whole damper in my thing. And then it's like, am I supposed to focus more? Am I supposed to let go? Because my own personal self know, like, I can see the transformation that needs to be occurring. I can see how the people are. Oh, that's what it was. It was something how he said how they don't see, and it is like their ego. Oh, yeah, that part. Because he said, like, when they suddenly see, it's going to be because this connection with their soul, and your soul is, it's different than how people are living. And it's, so when they suddenly see, he was saying the same thing as me, when they suddenly see, it's going to be extremely devastating. It's going to be really devastating to a lot of people. That's why, it's so funny because so many of us have been on this healing journey. We've been on this healing journey, working on ourselves and stuff like that. But we're just the precursor. We're just the start of that energy. And it's going to push in that direction. Like, everybody questioning, what am I doing here? What am I doing here? Why am I doing this? And that energy is already going. But then the people become resistant to how things are moving, and they hold on to the structures that give them a sense of peace or a sense of, trying to make sense of things. But is that when their soul all of a sudden is faced, when they're faced with themselves, it's going to be this existential crisis. So all these people, which I've said for a long time, most of the people, like there's so many people, I'm so awake, but they're far from it. And even the super spirit, they're out there leading the way through the spirituality. They're not awake. There's like so many people, they're awake to this or awake to that, but they don't try and fill their basket. They get a couple things and, they're ready to sit down and eat it all and tell everybody they got the best basket. But it is when this crisis happens, which you think of it as a crisis, but really it's like this mass awakening, this blurp, this thing, It's going to be where all of a sudden the blind can see, everybody can see. But when they see, it's going to be spectacular for a second, but then all of a sudden there's going to be this emperor's new clothes moment where they're going to feel naked and exposed, and they're going to be hit with a rush of them own selves, like where I've been saying for years. They're locking in their ability, because that's the part of them they're going to have to face. So these things going on in the world gives them their point of perspective. And then when all of a sudden you think of it as a sliding scale. Well, the scale's to here, and their beliefs are all in here. But all of a sudden, when it awakens, the scale's gonna be way over here. They're gonna be far from it, and so that is gonna be like this more of this humiliation. So it's gonna hit hard on people. That's why it's this shadow work, this existential crisis, this death of an ego, all of that stuff that people say, because it is this facing yourself suddenly, to suddenly see something you didn't see. So it's like what you thought were the parameters are going to suddenly fall. And then all of a sudden it's like, wait a minute, what? And that gives this rush of, I think, of knowing who you are or something. That could be the thing that's going to bust up the religion too. Is just like this energy is going to maybe suddenly come in and slap them awake, and they're going to suddenly realize, wait a minute, what? I'm eternal. I'm equal to Jesus. Like, I go sit and have tea with the dude. I'm not. He doesn't want me to worship him. No, and no soul wants somebody to worship him. Like I've said, like that's a dirty karmic kind of value. You need others to worship you. Why? You set up a tone to be worshipped. Then that is, that's a life experience. But that is not the soul. That's a storyline they try to keep people trapped in. But so the soul, when all of a sudden this parameter moves, and all of a sudden all the people see, and they are slapped away, like this moment of ease or something. This moment of like, it's like this super orgasmic kind of just like, But then all of a sudden it's like, oh, wait a minute. And then it's like all of a sudden they're going to be hit with this rush of things they said, things they did, the way they talked to somebody, the way they acted. It's going to be like boom, 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 boom. And they're going to all of a sudden feel naked and dirty, and they're going to want to hide. And that's where we're going to go into this huge healing drama. And so all of the people who think like, well, I've been in this healing journey, it is way more of about the light holders, the light bringers of the journey, because so many people are about to be hit into that same one, and all at the same time. So that is why we're going to be going into this very healing time. But I don't know how many more traumas we have to go through to get there. I don't know how many things have to change, how many arrests, what the market and stuff. I know it's all going to go in our favor, and everything is tumbling, and it can go in a lot of different directions. It's just like, you're watching the Jenga pieces come out, and you're trying to figure, well, it's going to fall that way. Well, it could fall that way. Well, it could fall that way, And right now, we got all these pieces that are coming out, and our Jenga just keeps staying. And so we've got all this haphazard part of our system that is just fragile. And then you have the people who are trying to hold it all together, like to make it, continue. And then you got those of us who are out here kicking it, throwing things. It's like, that don't want it to continue, that see the purpose and see the possibilities, and we're ready to let go. We're ready to move on to something bigger and better. And realizing how much of it is the creation of our own minds in order to break free out of this dark energy and go in the direction of positivity, of the best version of yourself and stuff. It's like a breaking out of prison, breaking out of the lab, breaking free. And see, that's the part of the spirit, the overcoming, the coming in, and the experience and breaking yourself free is like the game. It's like, there's gonna be people, like, when this occurrence happens and the people all wake up, there are gonna be success stories out of it. It's not gonna be like they're going to have to go through the part of feeling like, well, I didn't see this person I think is so stupid. It's a confirmation trying to, this person who I think is such a stupid kook, they could see and I couldn't see. What's wrong with me? So there's going to be, because that's the ego. You know, I'm better than everybody. I know everything. That's the whole thing that holds them, but it's also the thing that protects them. And so that's where you have to find balance. And we're in a society that's way out of balance. So once the people, like, they're going to have their humiliation moment that goes into, because it has to go. That's what leads them to want to let go of all this stuff. That's the healing part. And that's what, all these souls are here to ride this wave. And once they get through that, then they're going to feel good about themselves. Then they're going to see like, fuck, man, that was, it was a positive. It's going to feel like a negative at first, but then they're going to, once they get through it, then they're going to see it so much as like, fuck, man, I'm a badass, man. That was some shit that I just went through. It was some heavy stuff, man. And so a lot of people, it's going to change their attitude. So it's going to be kind of dismal for a while, where everybody's like crying and they're fucking shit, and they're so mad at themselves and unhappy, and there'll be people just plastered in a dark room on their bed with all the windows closed. So there's gonna be a lot of people going through the sadness of your choices and the things that you do and the way that we act when we are pushed and stuff. So once they get through that, though, when they face themselves, because it's all about letting go of that shit and being able to see, like, there's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with you because you have bad sides to you. It's like that's what gives you balance. You can't, you're way more complex. You're not just of, it's not just of the light, like you're the yin and the yang. You're not just the yin and then the yin, you're both. And and in this world, we're both, but people, their dark was fed, so the darkness became uh, insatiable. This consumption, give me more, give me more, give me more. That's why people who go dark, they go so, it's just got, like the people who get into the PORN, and it just gets more creepy and more fetishy. They need more and more to get off on. Because regular shit doesn't help now. Regular stuff. You guys are too white bread for me. It's like they're, needing to suck some toes and be choked out in order to get off and stuff. Like, these people get kooky. It's like, how do you even get into this weird shit? But that was a part of their life journey. That weird shit came to them and they indulged. And it has to do with the game they came to play. But that is where people don't even have the awareness of their game that they came here to play yet. They're just blindlessly playing. They're just all on autopilot. But so their darkness got way out of balance. The darkness, and that's in the micro macro, that's in our whole society. The darkness became way out of balance to the light. And so that is where we have to pull back into balance. We have to look where are we out of balance, and having the recognition that your depth of your darkness has been fed into in this reality. But you can make the changes. You are powerful. You can pull it together, but you got to do it through awareness. You got to do it through seeing, paying attention to yourself, questioning yourself, looking at yourself. It's like, and it can get you crazy, like where it's just like you're constantly thinking and evaluating and stuff. So, and that's, part of where you gotta learn how to relax. Like, everything is more lessons. You get too out of balance on anything. You can get too out of balance trying to be too perfect. You can get too out of balance. You gotta just let it be. Like sometimes, like, I'll go be walking the dogs, right? Some of these walks are just so fucking irritating to me. So irritating. And I know some of it has to do with the energy out there. And I know then they get affected by the energy. They're going crazy. And I'm just like, oh my God. And and I'll be frustrated, and they'll be twisting around me and stuff. And so when I get frustrated, then I'll always think like, God, I need to work on my patience. I need to get it together. I need to, you know, um, and it can be whatever I want it to be. If I want to work on my patience and stuff, it's being highlighted to me where I need to work on it at. But it is also, it's okay. It's like there's nothing wrong with you because you're not fully patient all the time. It's just taking notice and seeing yourself. And, and if you don't like what you see, make changes. But it isn't that you are wrong or right. You're not better than anybody. You're not worse than anybody. It's just every experience playing out. So it's like I see it kind of like if you took all the souls, I'll try and explain how I see this. Like as if you took all the souls and you just put them as like feelers. And then all of these feelers all of a sudden going. You're just here to feel, to experience. You're not here to say, well, this feeling's wrong. Well, this feeling's right. This isn't right. Well, you're just here to feel and experience. You're to experience what feeling feels like. What is it to feel? What is it to be? What is it to be married? What is it to have a child? And then even when you have a child, then it is when you, every single situation that can happen changes that dynamic. And so, having money can change it. And it can change it for the bad sometimes. It can change it for way worse because you have money, say you worked hard to get the money and you had to, I don't know, maybe you had to do stuff that you wish you didn't have to do or whatever. You were willing to do whatever you had to do to get the money, whatever it is. And then you have all this money. And this is something that is like supposedly the difference between the blue bloods and those of us who go out and make money or something. I don't know. I think the fucking blue bloods are a bunch of fucking weirdo vampos. But so the person who goes and makes the money and all these riches, and then their kids are raised with having all of these things, it gives them a very different way of being. Like the parent can be very much like, they could be frugal. They could be like, oh no, we don't want to, because they had this other experience. Well, these other kids are being raised in this other, so they can have what they want and things are easy and stuff. It doesn't always bring the best out in people. Sometimes poverty brings the best out in people, but then it can also go dark too. It can turn you into a criminal. It can turn you into angry. Everybody else has it, and I don't have anything. And so everything is lessons, and everything is to give you an experience of yourself. And every little dynamic that changes the experience. And that's why we come into so many different, and you don't have to think of it all as going into all these lives. To me, it's like checking out books at the library. That's the extent of reincarnation to me, is it's getting absorbed in the character and playing that character out in the storyline so that you get the experience. And they've been very short ones, lots of short ones. So you go through those experiences and go, the same thing as getting really absorbed in a story, in a book. And so you learn from it, but we are not just reading it, we're going in to feel what it feels like to be that, what it feels like to have that happen. And then we have enough power or enough of influence in existence that we get to play a role. So we get to become the situation. We get to go in and become the situation. So it's kind of like, yeah, it's kind of like you check out a book from the library, the template. You read the book. You absorb into the character, the reincarnation. And then okay, wait a second, because I was seeing it. Okay, so you read the book. Then that's the storylines, that's the template. Then you're birthed into it, which is the reincarnation. So you putting yourself into it. Is the story written? You are the creator of the storyline. So the template is you creating the outcome, like with all these other people, because they're all connected to all of the outcome. But then you what is that? So you connect to the outcome. Okay. And then, but that is how the story is written. That is where it is like, it's like the book, and then this is the movie. So, but the book doesn't have the same leeway of like, I mean, the movie doesn't have the same leeway. And a lot of authors, you know, would write a book and then the movie would do a lot of shifting around it, their story, and it would be irritating to them. But it's not like that in the reincarnation of it. It is that like you check out the book, you read it, you create this persona that what you would do in this story. The story is written, and then to slow it down and play it out so that you can feel it, and that is the living it, this life thing. But it's like, but it's scripted, you can't change it. And so it is destined, it's destiny. So anyways, but I still look at it as like, reincarnation is the same as just like, you know, how many books have you ever checked out from a library in your whole life? Like, just in this life, how many books have you checked out? Because people are always like, well, I think I might have had 1 or 2 lives before. It's like the same as dreams. It's the same as like, how many books have you checked out? It's like, that's how easy it is. These stories are written. We're probably living other lives while we're living this one. That's probably what we're doing when we're sleeping. We're just going in another life. We're one of those, in those movies, these Lifetime movies where I just saw this one, you know, and her husband disappears. And so she starts going, and somebody sees him somewhere. So she starts following him, follows him to his other family. And then she confronts him. Well, you know, he couldn't keep up. That was just too much. So he had to go back to his original family. But that's what it kind of is, just was making me see, is like, uh, we have our life that we're living, but we're going out at night and living some other ones at the same time. So we're making the most of our time all the time. But yeah, it is like, just figure that how many lives you've lived is probably about how many dreams you've had in this life, than how many books you've checked out from the library. It's like, it's tons. Because even if you think, well, I don't ever go to the library, I don't check out books. Well, when we were kids in school, I don't know, maybe schools have changed, but that thing in the library, they're constantly making us go check out books and making us do book reports and read books and shit. So I would say, you know, even if you don't ever read any books as an adult, when you were a kid, learning how to read, they made you read books all the time. So can you remember? Can you remember all those books? So that's how I look at it with past lives and stuff. You got tons. You got tons you can't even remember. You got, and but you don't need to remember them all. You need to remember the ones that you came here to work on right now. The parts of you that were trapped, the parts of you that were resistant, the parts of you that you're trying to move in a different direction. And in this time, in this period of time, it's very, you know, dramatic with the this purging of your old self, this real recognition of who you are and what you're doing here, and, you know, the point of your being, and what is this place, and how does it exist, and all of the, you know, the questions that people are coming into their own on, you know, because it all leads into, you know, that you're an eternal soul, and that you have a lot more power than you think. And there's so much more about how you look at things. And that's what you want to do about the sickness and stuff, is get more control over your entity or whatever as a being, and not a subject to their diagnosing and their prognosis and their all of the things that they want to do to keep us in their trap. So, anyways, everything is a fucking, it's all fucking traps. It's just trap after trap after trap. And there's so many people who are dedicated to keep this system going. And, but there's no way it's going to fall apart. It's falling apart. And it is going to be the money thing. So that money thing is going to go. That guy also had said something else, but he had said it's going to be, like, we're going to be, how if it plays out the way he saw in his dream or his communication with God or whatever, that it's going to play out in a really good, positive way. Like, it's going to start breaking down on the tariff thing. Then we're going to start switching into other, but we're going to keep building and building. But the thing is it's going to happen in all different countries. I just don't know, like, if there's going to be some that are going to lead the way and then everybody else is going to follow. My mom said yesterday, too, that Vladimir and Trump were having a little talk, and he was telling him, stop this war. And that's, to me, is a big show, because Vladimir's already on the peace treaty. And so it's, whatever they're trying to bring to the surface, war crime or mineral or the resources, all of the bullshit, because that is just things that keep being talked about, and it's all the things that they want to control. And so that is being brought to the surface so that people wake up and see, because that is how we move out of this control that they have over us. And so, anyways, I don't think that there's all of these wars and all this stuff going. It's like what they keep trying to say. I think a part of it is to try and get us to think in this certain direction, so as things unfold that we can see, oh, well, we need to have peace, and we need to all be on the same currency. We need there not to be third world countries. We need to all be equal. There's nobody over us. There's people who are over us, but we've allowed them to be over us because we subjected ourselves, because we thought that we were their subject. We thought that that there was people over us. We thought everybody else was voting. Well, we want our vote to count. We want to be a part of it. And so, but really, it was just taking a knee and becoming subjects to these people who want to control us. So that is, all of that is ending. And it has to do with it has to do with our money, our resource, our food, everything. Some of us are just lab rats. America is such lab rats, man. But then you think on the micro, macro, we have all these animals trapped in cages, and some of our food, the fear that we've created. Oh, and it's just so gross too. It's like the fear that some of these animals are in, and then the people eat that fear, eat that energy. I don't know. This place is just dark and dismal. And I don't know. It always gets me when people are just like, oh no, well, we have to do that. Well, we have to do this. It's like, why? Why is there a have to? I think what we have to do is make change, create change, desire change, move towards change. And everything needs to change. And we need to change. Like, we don't have people, like, you think, oh, well, it's the whole world. But look at our relationships. The people, when you break it down, people have shitty relationships. And I've seen more people talking about the dating thing. So whatever, but that was always going to fall apart because it's very toxic. You don't need to go out and try and find somebody. The who is meant for you comes to you. It happens naturally. But it's the same thing. It's like people going to a doctor, getting diagnoses instead of going to them own selves. People going out into this dating pool, trying to fill their needs, which became very sexually erotica, like, here, just fuck me, and just, that's all I need right now. Just all these people just trying to get supercharged. Yeah, well, I'm wanted. Yeah, well, I'm looking good. I can get fucked real quick. Like all these people is like, I see all these guys like complaining about the women at the gym. It's just like, like they're trying to get as little clothes on as they can. And then they're going and sitting on these machines, spreading their legs. And then if a man looks over, then they have a fit. It's like, there's a weird, like, it's so fucking weird. Like, I just remember this one time. This was years ago. It was just after I was already waking up to, I was already seeing the victim mentality and stuff. And there was a girl that we knew, and she was indulging in, unsafe behavior, going and getting drunk and leaving with people. And so she left with this guy. And she wakes up to him having his way with her feet. And so she just was like, oh, I'm just going to stay asleep here for a second. And like, let's just finish this up. I'm going to pretend like I don't know what's happening. Which, that's, we all have choices. We could jump up and go, what the fuck are you doing? I'm out of here. But you could also be scared like, oh my God, this guy's a weirdo or whatever. So it could be anything. But to me, I said, well, I mean, it was all this, big toe, my feet have been running, and I was like, yeah, but you put yourself in the situation. You can't just put yourself in the situation and think it's going to be a good one. It's like you have to think, what is the best thing for you to protect yourself and stuff. But, yeah, and I was looked at as very strange, like, oh, how dare I, that guy did this. It's like, yeah, but you are putting yourself into the position. You are putting yourself in a risky situation. Well, when do we start taking accountability for our situations and ourselves and stuff? And so, yeah, there's a lot of toxic shit out there, a lot of toxic bullshit out there. But we have to prioritize ourselves and set better standards and boundaries and stuff. And don't, like, assume if you leave with somebody in the middle of the night, they're going to do some weird shit. You don't know this person. Yeah, you're all laughing and having fun drunk, but you don't know this person. There's fucking all these women who are going out on these dates, and these people are planning to eat them. There's women who are being found dismembered. There's people who have been found half-eaten. Like, yeah, the dating thing was not yeah, we were going in a dark direction. It was opening up the door to a bunch of weird shit, man. So it is, but that is where we learned how to prioritize ourselves. The waves need to change. We need to go in a direction where we're not out there desperately trying to find somebody to love us, because loving yourself is key. And going out and letting people abuse you and treat you bad, that is going to teach you the importance of learning how to love yourself. But as long as you're the victim and everything is happening, and you've got no accountability, it's nothing you're doing, then you're going to keep playing in it and keep going and going and going. It's not until you look at yourself in the mirror and go like, well, you do some stupid ass shit, man. You do dangerous shit. You do allow weirdos and, like, let them come in. And so it's once you start seeing that in yourself and you start changing it and you start going in a different direction, then things will change. And you won't have these weirdos that are coming around you and shit. But you got to pull out of that. You got to pull out of that fucking dating cesspool where everybody's desperately trying to find somebody to either fuck or make them feel better. It's like, some people, that's all they need. They just need a quick fuck. They don't give a shit. I mean, our place is eaten up with that. Guys that just like bounce from one fuck to another, they don't need anything else. And then they wonder why their life's so empty. And so, anyways, but this is a time of change. This is a time of reflection. This is a time when if you're not seeing yourself yet, it's just going to continue to get lighter and lighter and lighter. It's going to be highlighted. And there will be this abrupt, slap that's going to come in to really bring it home. And like I said, it's going to be a kind of a beautiful moment, but then it's going to go real dark real quick. And but all of the people who have been working on themselves are going to be the ones leading them out of the darkness, because we did it. You can get it through it. What you need to do is face yourself. You need to look at the parts of yourself that you don't want to think about. Desperate, needy, whiny, angry, bitter. And it's not because you have to stop being any of those things. You just need to get balanced. You need to manage yourself. You need to understand yourself better. And then when you start understanding yourself better, you stop doing toxic shit. You stop having toxic people around you. You just don't want to put up with it. It's like, I'm good. I'm good. I'll just sit down here and read a book. I'll just sit and listen to music. You know what I mean? It's like you don't need to go out and be all involved with all of the people who are just out there desperately trying to find something, desperately trying to hold on to something, desperately trying to find themselves in a fucking mud mess. So, anyways, but yeah, it is like they're all muddy, but then the universe is going to come in with the fire hose and spray them off, and all of a sudden they're going to be clean, but then they're going to feel dirty. They're going to feel dirty on the inside, and that's worse because that's where you got to cleanse your soul. You got to face it, cleanse your soul. That's what I got to say about it. So anyways, let me think if there was anything else, because there's a lot going, and I just see it through the lens of change. Through, yeah, this is all going, everything's falling apart, and people that are in those jobs stuck playing roles, there's a desperation behind them. They need a paycheck. They're resistant to waking up, all this stuff. So yeah, it's going to be way different when the resistance is gone and all of a sudden, we're all going in this direction. It's going to be like a freight train sudden change. It's going to be like, boy, we're going to be going. It's like, oh yeah, it is. Because it is like, like a lot of us are like chomping at the bit, waiting for the thing to open so we can take off in the races. And it is like, it's like all of a sudden when this energetic change happens, it's like all the gates open and all of the horses are out to the races. It's going to be, like a big abrupt change. And but all of the ones, all of the beings being held behind the gates that are here to push for change, that is when the gates all go at once, all of us have been like running on the treadmill as fast as we can, and the gates are going and we're just ready to go, and then all of a sudden the gates open and all that energy, it's like this burst of energy, and we're going to be take off in this new direction. It's going to be really cool, I think. So anyways, I'm curious to see how it all plays out, because in the visuals and stuff in your head, it plays out in these weird ways and stuff, like seeing all of us, everybody's looking one way and then all of a sudden everybody's looking the other way. And so there's lots of things, so it's very curious or interesting to see how it's going to play out. But then it's also that also feeds into the excitement of like, come on, come on, come on. And then that is where you can drive yourself crazy, where you got to find your own balance, your own sense of peace. Like we can sit here wanting and desiring things to change, but we can't force them. That we can push in the direction, and then we'll see. Because yeah, now I see it as like we have a big boulder and we're all pushing on it, and we're pushing and pushing with all our might to push for a new direction, and then all of a sudden the boulder's going to go. And so, when it goes, it's going to have a momentum, and so all of our pushing is going to suddenly make sense. We're going to see it in action. So it's going to be exciting. There's a lot of excitement coming. It's also going to be hard. We have to acknowledge that there's going to be a lot of people who are going to be really hit hard with this energy, but once they get through it, and then they do what they came here for, then they're going to feel a lot better. But anyways, it's going to be exciting. There's going to be some exciting stuff. So I will advise you to work on yourself, because you can't go wrong. So learning how to love yourself. You don't forget, it gets you out of the fucking cesspool of darkness. So learning how to love yourself, and then learning how to love everybody else, because then you're not the victim. You can't just sit and judge them. So learning how to love everybody, and let it go, man, let it go. And then learning how to have the day you want. It has to do with how you focus your energy, what you pay attention to, what you think, and that's what it all has to do with. And once you start managing yourself and you start being more directive, you'll see. It may be some things won't go right in the day, but you don't have to focus on them. You can focus on what goes wrong in the day. You don't have to focus on it. You can focus on what goes right. So remember, learn how to love yourself, loving everybody, and how to have the day you want. And then we will, of course, talk about it again tomorrow. So I'll talk to you later. Bye.